What's going on, y'all? You know what time it is. It's time for another edition of Rant and Blast with me, Ray Sean, however you want to title me, Colin Shaw, highly skilled. It's time to go in again. It's time to talk about something that most people are afraid to talk about. Good old racism. Had to take my glasses off for this. So as you know, get ready to invite a lot of you. Some of you may be a little sensitive to the topic, maybe a little disheartened by the topic, but you know what? We need to talk about this. This is something that is really disheartening to what it is we have going on. This issue of race in our country is really a problem. This issue of race in our country is hurting us right now. A lot of us are bothered by the events that took place this past weekend still, and we have trouble attempting to speak with our children about it. It's a difficult subject to talk about, especially when our children haven't dealt with it on a first-hand basis. And you know, as I send out the invites, I know some of you are at work. We have school teachers that this topic will come up with, so I am inviting many of you. I know a lot of you are, again, at work, but I feel it's important that I invite you just to watch this video in general when you have the chance, because if you don't get around to it, then, or if you do get around to it, you can share it with those that are close to you. Especially you teachers, you can share it with the parents of your students, because what I'm going to talk about today is something that encompasses everything that's transpired throughout our history and what has led up to today. So this is going to be a pretty long video, maybe, I don't know. I shouldn't say long, but it's gonna be a pretty nice size video, and I want everybody to participate with their comments. I want everybody to participate with their questions, because if we don't try to discuss this and try to get it right, then we're not doing justice to Rant and Blast. We're not doing justice to sharing the video, and we're not doing justice to the other adults that need to see it. We're not doing justice to our teenagers that need to see it as well, or even our middle school students, the preteens that may have an understanding or have questions. So, like I said, a lot of you are going to get these invites, and I want y'all to come on through and check this out. So a lot of you are going to get the invite, and you know, come on and check us out. So give me a minute to send out these invites, and I appreciate if y'all take a listen and sit back and enjoy. And if I skip over you, I apologize. I'm trying to do two things at once. So I'm not even sure where to start with this. Uh, excuse me. I think the best place to start is, let's start with Washington. Let's do that. Let's start with DC. DC has not responded. There's been a complete lack of response from DC. And when I say lack of response, I'm not talking about getting on social media and saying something, making a tweet. I'm talking about literally coming on television and doing an interview. Uh, Found out this morning that they've all declined television interviews. Now, if this issue was so important to you, why would you all decline, I'm sorry, television interviews to the issue? Every last one of them. So I feel like that's a huge problem when you decline a television interview in regards to an issue like this of racism in America. Because if you are denouncing white supremacy, white nationalists, KKK, neo-Nazism, whatever group you want to call it, that showed up and committed violence, and you're supposed to be in a position of power, you're supposed to be a leader in our Congress, whether you're a senator or a congressman. That's a huge problem for me personally. I don't care if you're black or white. You have done a disservice to what it is that your position holds. You lack the integrity to get on and talk to the American people about what that clown has done. And yes, I don't refer to him as my president, just as most of you don't refer to him as your president. He's just another pawn, puppet, whatever you want to call him, but he's damn sure not a president, and not a good one. We all know that. I think we can all agree to that. So for those of you, when you see my comments that might think, oh, I take his side or anything like that. No, I'm not taking his side. And we all know I can't stand racism. I don't even like cops. I can't stand police brutality. I can't stand many things. And one thing I damn sure won't stand for is anybody who grew up with parents that were a part of the Nazis. And then your child is Jewish, your son-in-law is Jewish, and you don't come out and denounce these groups in full. There's a problem with that. And everybody's talking about the moral compass, the integrity. There is none. There's none whatsoever. So when you have none of those things, when you're lacking every last bit of those things, it puts into question, where do we stand? Where do we stand as America? Where are we going as America? Where do we want to go as America? Everything is cyclical. I've posted this. I've had conversations with people about this. The things we do, the things that we go through go in cycles. That's all America is a big cycle. It's a cycle of change. It's a cycle of reinvention. It's a cycle of seeing things that have been done before. The difference is when we get to see it now, and our parents and our grandparents get to see it now, it comes full circle because of things like social media and new technology. See, a lot of the things that happened when they came up, there's no Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram, none of that stuff existed. So they didn't get a chance to post any of this stuff to be able to know what was going on. So at the end of the day, a lot of times it was missed. Now we at a point where everything is told, everything is leaked, all of this stuff. So when you have that happen, we know it comes to that point of everybody talking about it. Everybody has their own opinion about it. Everybody's going to have something to say. But when everybody has something to say, what is the purpose behind what it is you're saying? Because we all have an opinion. A lot of times we all don't have the facts because we're going off the eye test, and that's fine. And our eye test is showing us that the leadership that we so desire is missing a lot of things that should help us get to the next level. Now, we can sit here and say, yes, we have leaders. Yes, we are our own leaders in such a way that allows us to get to the next level, and we're leaders in our own right. And I respect that, and I understand that. I have nothing against our leadership for the presentation of what it is we do. And I appreciate the conversation that I had yesterday with people that support Rant and Blast, saying they appreciate the leadership that I bring for Rant and Blast and for what I do. So I thank you for that. But there has to be more. There has to be more voices like myself putting this stuff out there. There has to be more voices talking about this stuff. We have to gain an edge. We have to gain, I'm not saying popularity, we have to gain some type of, I can't even think of the word right now, but we have to gain some power. I'll use that word. That's the best word I can use. because a lot of us aren't doing this to get famous. A lot of us are doing this because we have a message. That message is a message of going back to morals and integrity. Now, we can sit here and we can have Charlotte's every day. We can have Charlottesville every weekend. We can sit here and have it all the time. And there's going to be rallies in, I think, 7 cities this weekend, 7 major cities this weekend. We don't know if it's going to be worse than Charlottesville. We don't know if it's going to equate to what happened in Charlottesville. What I know is if it's going to look like that, we got trouble on our hands this weekend because it's a lot of them and not enough of us. We got a fight on our hands, people. We have a fight on our hands. And I can see y'all from my phone, so I appreciate all y'all watching. There's a comment. It didn't pop up on my phone. Terrence says, this is the American way. It's been this way and it will never change. Say what you want to say, bro. He's your president because you reside in this country. But one thing I stress, where we go, I lost it. But one thing I stress to people is that the president is just the president of the corporation. The United States is the corporation in America. I never supported the president. I never will. Presidents are scapegoats for Congress. You know what? You're absolutely right. This is a corporation. And I think what a lot of people miss is that this clown, I'm not going to refer to him as my president, though, Terrence. I'm not. Didn't vote for him. He's run the country like a business. I said this. I've been saying this. I said this when he campaigned. I said this when he campaigned if he was going to be elected. Let me rephrase that. He's running the country like a business. He's also running the country like he's still on the show The Apprentice. Okay? So when you understand that the United States has always been a business, and Britain, before they became the United Kingdom, of course, understood that the United States was a business, that's how this country has always been ran. Even when the Mexican-Texas War occurred, in which, let me take you back for a minute, Robert E. Lee was a part of, okay, who was also a part of the Civil War, okay, history lesson. And then you bring it to today, and they were fighting over a statue. They fought over a statue this weekend that had already been taken down earlier this year, right? And then you go to, I believe, Louisiana, in which another statue was taken down, right? So you pick this town in which a statue of one of the most famous generals is taken down. But what people are failing to realize is that everybody's getting a statue. All these presidents are getting statues, libraries, all of this stuff, right? So if all of these people are getting statues, libraries, whatever the case may be, and there's been 45 presidents, none of them have been liked by anybody going back to the beginning of time. They've also had airports named after them. What do you think is going to happen in the future? Let's just go there for a moment. Airports, libraries, monuments, statues, the four main things that people get named after. And there's a few libraries too. We'll throw that in as the fifth thing. All of these things. So now we get to a point of people that don't like them, whether they're a hate group or just a regular person that doesn't like who they are, destroying property, buildings, statues because of hate or just because they've gone out of their mind. They've lost their morals and their integrity behind all of that. But see, we have the power as the people. Everybody keeps saying the word democracy. I keep hearing the word democracy on TV. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a republic. There's a huge difference. The United States has never been a democracy, ever. There is no democratic oath. There is no democratic process. We live in a republic. That's why a lot of these things, that's why all of these things are happening. So look at it from that perspective. I don't care what party you're affiliated with. The parties were created so that you could have a voice. Okay. So now let's get back to the leadership. So let me ask this question. I see a lot of y'all watching. And this goes for both the men and the women watching. Honest question. How many of you consider yourself to be a black leader? And y'all can answer in the comments, with a like, a love, share, laugh, whatever you want to do, or you could just answer I do or me, whatever the case may be. Because I want to really get into the meat of black leaders and how we've lost what black leadership is supposed to be. Hey, Yolanda, what's going on? And shout out to everybody watching. I can't get to all of you, but I see all of you. Matter of fact, yep, I see all of you. Tradisa, my family, G Jones, HB, G Brown, Damian, Nyosha, Terrence. Who else we got? Ben, Cynthia, Zakia, Terrence, I saw you. Herb, Chambriel, Bishop Kreiner, Lovely, what's going on? Wanda, Travis, Sugar Pounds, Vage, what's up, fam? And Yolanda. So I see all of you. Thanks for everybody watching. I appreciate that. So yeah, if y'all can just answer that about black leadership really fast, let me know, because I think that black leadership has really changed. It's changed in a lot of aspects. It's changed from being right out there on the front line and saying, hey, I'm a black leader and this is what I stand for, to let me just not be the face at all. I'm just going to stay in the community. And I'm all for community. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for community. Community is good. But see, when you have groups or a group like Black Lives Matter, they show up when it's convenient. Hey, Kamel. Hey, Robert. What's going on, y'all? They show up out of convenience. Al Sharpton showing up out of convenience. Jesse Jackson showing up out of convenience. The NAACP and Urban League showing up out of convenience when a black male is shot. That's a problem. That's not leadership. You're showing up for a check. That's a problem. It's a huge problem because you're showing up because now you have something to say. But when did you have something to say in between all of that, when the issue had already been there beforehand? You weren't saying anything when the cops were just being corrupt. You didn't have anything to say when the drugs were just coming in. They were just coming in before, and they were just hitting the street. You didn't have anything to say then, but you got something to say when the black man is getting his behind kicked and getting choked out and getting shot, or 12-year-olds getting shot, 17-year-old boy getting shot in his own neighborhood. You didn't have nothing to say then. Hey, Shannon, you have anything to say? And now all these anniversaries come up for these people that we've lost. Nobody's saying a word. The young man, and this really breaks my heart, young man down in Georgia, Kendrick Johnson, rolled up in a gym mat a couple of years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago. Nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. No Al Sharpton, no Jesse Jackson. There was no Black Lives Matter, nobody. And I remember being one of the only people, one of the few of the media reporting it. Rant and Blast was one of the few media outlets that was reporting this, that followed this entire story. This family got absolutely no justice. They had to hire an independent doctor to do an autopsy. And just last week, the family has to repay $300,000 to the family that was implicated in their son's death. $300,000 in legal fees, I should say. No justice in that. None whatsoever. And people keep saying, where's the black leaders? I showed up. I made my calls. I talked independently with family members about that situation. I posted a lot about that story. CNN reported that story twice. They were the only mainstream news outlet to do so. I covered it on my show a lot. And people talk about where our leaders. I'll raise my hand. That's what's missing. Who's stepping up? Because it's all about I. Everybody's being selfish. What happened to being selfless? Because you can take all the words you want. It doesn't matter if it's coming across harsh, it doesn't matter if it's coming across heavy, it doesn't matter if it's coming across in such a way that it's hurting people's feelings. Every leader doesn't have to be a motivational speaker. It's stepping up and doing something. How can you direct? How can you strategize? How do you plan? People are missing what leadership has become about. Who can you work with? People enjoy working with me because of my strong personality. People like working with me because they know I can get it done. What's going on, Damien? Vegas morning. It's getting hot out there. But our leadership is failing nationally. May not be failing locally, but it's failing nationally. Sure, locally we get out there and vote. We want change locally, yeah. But what about on that bigger scale? As I posted last night, who's out there that's going to challenge this clown in the next election? Who out there is going to take him down? Because y'all know y'all cannot take another 4 years of this idiot being in office. Y'all know this. Where's his foreign policy? Where's his domestic policy? Because we're looking at his domestic policy right now based on racism. We're looking at it. So what leadership is going to step up? And I'm not talking about just black leadership at this point. I'm talking about any leadership, whether they're running independent, Green Party, Republican, Democrat, who's going to take him down that has some moral compass and integrity when it comes to racism. Just because you're a Republican doesn't make you a racist. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Do we need a black Republican in office? We've already had a black man that's a Democrat be president. Why can't there be a black Republican? I'm just going on the opposite side of the fence, making the point that maybe it's time that people start looking at another big picture. Or is it time that there's a woman in office as president? What is it that is needed to get the job done so that some of the people are satisfied? What type of leadership is needed? Who's going to step up? Because nobody's talking. Nobody's talking about the future. Nobody's talking about taking down an idiot, an uneducated idiot at that. See, what needs to happen is people say, "Oh no, we're not gonna slander and throw blows and throw shots at the campaign and at our opponent and all of that." Man, if I was gonna run in 2020, I'd throw all of that at him because he's just stupid. Leadership is important. Morals and integrity are important, but we're missing a whole big picture. Everybody's posting. I see it. I watch Facebook. I have to. That's why I'm able to come on here and do the videos. And I sit back and I read. Everybody's posting. But after you post, what action are you taking to fix the problem behind what the clown is doing? What's your thought process to fix it? Racism can't be fixed. You can't fix a racist person. You can't fix them. They have to want to be fixed. A racist person is just like a person on drugs. You can't fix them. They have to want to be fixed. They have to go and want the help to understand that they don't have to be hateful. Okay? You have just like a person on drugs. They have to understand that they don't have to want to do drugs. They have to go and want help. They have to go and seek out and want the rehabilitation. So today, what action, I go back to action, what action do we as leaders put forth for 2020? Hey Eddie, what's going on? What action do we put forth for 2020? Who wants to challenge this guy? Don't be scared of his money. What money? He's just another human being that puts his clothes on the same way everybody else does. I've never been scared of a millionaire because I've had that kind of money myself. You can't be scared of another human being. Your morals and your integrity should never allow you to be scared of another human being or to fear another human being. That's what racism is. Racism allows you to fear another human being because what? Their skin tone, their financial status, their education. Man, I could go on. I could keep this thing going and find so many things that allow a racist to be a racist is ridiculous. And racism works on both sides of the spectrum when it comes to other cultures, other races, whether you want to call it prejudice or discrimination. The world that we live in today with social media shows us this. It shows us a lot when it comes to racism, when it comes to discrimination, when it comes to prejudices. Because there's so many things happening so quickly. So we have to fix our community as leaders. And I always say this: if the community isn't right, that's your home. If your home isn't in order, you cannot go outside your door and help the outside world. So you have to make sure your home is in order first before you help the outside world become better. It's a true statement. I believe that's a true thing. Get your house in order. That's your community first. Then step outside those doors and go into your neighborhood, go into your community centers, go into wherever you're going to go. And you don't have to stay in your area when I say community. See, unfortunately, the word community got minimized when I was trying to do my Save the Youth event. So for anybody watching, when I say community, that doesn't mean just your neighborhood. I'm talking about your city. So let's get that straight. Your community, your city, your area, the suburbs, wherever you want to go. As long as it's within your city, community, all right? But I want everybody to be careful this weekend. They're having another, again, as I said earlier, they're having another Charlottesville this weekend. Hey, Dawn, they're having another Charlottesville this weekend. I believe it's starting on Friday like they did before, going into Saturday. There's going to be one. I can't remember all the cities. I didn't write them down, but I believe I saw Pittsburgh, Seattle. I can't remember the other cities. I know those were two of them. So now they're essentially, as I look at it, they're targeting NFL towns, baseball towns, what have you. So if you live in any of those cities or know people in those cities, let them know to be very careful and cautious when they go out. These people are dangerous. These people are dangerous. And let me just throw it this way. Black people, BLM, any of the black groups, this is not our fight. Dawn, you're right. We need a day of love this weekend, or make it every day. You're right. It would be nice to have that. It would be a nice to have a day where America didn't kill anybody, or some, let me rephrase that. A day in America where somebody didn't get killed. But unfortunately, that's not the way people's minds think. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. So For those that missed it, for those that don't understand and know, let me explain to you what you thought you saw, you didn't really see. And for those of you that like to watch MSNBC, CNN, and Fox, let me get the record straight for you. The guys that you saw dressed in armor were not National Guard. They were not police officers. They were regular people, part of those groups, as part of a militia to ward off the real police and to be there to incite the violence. What'd you say, Don? Why do we talk about what we don't want more than what we want? Speak your truth. Thanks, Don. I appreciate it. So that's why I say be very careful, because anybody that you know that may be going to this event, they may step up to who they think is a police officer. They're not a police officer. But I'm going to tell you now, stay your butts at home. For those of you that are going to share this and watch this, stay your butt home in those cities this weekend. You're right. 5 great things can happen and 1 bad thing, and that's all you speak of. Yeah, it's very crazy. Hey, Veronica, what's going on? Be safe. Have some morals. Have some integrity. What I know is this isn't our fight. This is not our fight this time. They're not gunning for us. Not right now. We only make it our fight if we jump in the fight. It's just like war, right? If we're not asked to join the fight, don't get into the fight. BLM, y'all stood on the sidelines. Y'all stood under the tree, minding your business. Mind your business this weekend. And BLM, y'all not even big enough to go to the 7 cities. Y'all don't even have enough people for that. So mind your business. I know y'all don't have enough people because I've been around you. Y'all can't even make it. Y'all can't do it. I've seen you in action. I've seen you in person. I've been around you. I've studied you. We need more leadership doing videos about what their feelings are, about what their emotions are, about racism, about integrity, about leadership, about getting to the next level. I don't care if you do a video about what your kids, teaching your kids about finances. Hey, Tasha, what's going on? We need videos like that because it's going to help someone else. Leadership. It's not to get famous. You're building a legacy. You're building something strong for the future. That's what this is all about. You can teach at home, but there's somebody on the outside that doesn't know what it is that you're doing or know how to do it. Teach them. That's what leadership is about. And I said Black leadership in regards to what's going on right now. I wanted to be specific about that because it's missing. They can get all the educators they want on the news, but they never get a common person on the news. They never get somebody that's in media on the news that's intelligent, that can speak to the same facts, that can speak to the same truth of what's going on. They don't want that because they know that they can tear down the entire establishment of what's going on. They don't like to see that. And that's how you elevate somebody. They would hate to see that happen. So they can keep getting all the educators they want. They can keep getting all the politicians they want. They can keep getting all the former strategists they want. They can keep getting everybody they want, all the lawyers they want. But I'm going to keep doing this. And I want y'all to keep tuning into this when I invite you. So I hope this has been informative. I hope you've all taken a piece of this and gotten something out of it. And I want you to share this on your pages and among your family and friends. And I hope that they get something out of it and they're able to share it as well, because the leadership is important. The morals and integrity are important. And we need to understand that we have to start preparing for 3 years from now to try to take this clown down. And like I said, it doesn't matter what party you're with. I don't deal with parties. I deal with policies. I deal with real politics. So I want all of you to enjoy your day, and I will come back and talk to you all soon. Everybody have a good day. Grant and Blast, it's too real. I'll talk to y'all soon.